of Be Great podcast, where we always speaking to great people who have done phenomenal things. And today I have a special guest. His name is Dr. Stephen Loney. How you doing, Dad?
Doing well, son. How are you?
I'm doing great. Definitely good to see you today, Dad. We actually look forward to just having a great conversation. I know so many great things going to come from this conversation. It's going to bless many people. If you wouldn't mind, just take a few minutes just to introduce yourself, let people know a little bit about who you are.
I'm Dr. Stephen Loney, um, living here in Durham, North Carolina. Um, I'm the father of two wonderful children. My son Stephen Jr. and my daughter Nicole, and I have four or five grandchildren and one great granddaughter. I'm a clinical director of a behavioral health care clinic dealing with substance abuse, mental health, which is a great big problem in our community. And I'm pretty active in the community. One of the things, and I remember as a child watching my father, and we didn't move a lot, but I remember moving three times, and each time he moved, he would join one of the local political parties, and he stayed active in community activities. So that's something that I've been strong in. I'm also an ordained minister. Associate minister at my church, and so I stay pretty active in ministry and mental health, substance abuse, mentoring. So just doing a wide range of things, and I enjoy with hanging out with my son, and I enjoy communicating and hanging out with my daughter and my grandchildren. And so just really having a good time at this stage of my life, and just being able to look back and just continue learning how to live better and have a better life, and passing on the message of some of the um, roadblocks and loose stones on the path of getting here at this stage of anyone's life, and and continuing to learn how to live in these senior years. Something that is also a learning experience.
Awesome, awesome, Dad. I just wanted to, definitely unpack a little bit about your story. But like I said, we've had several times where we sat down on the podcast before, and I kind of want to have a direction of where we're going to in this conversation. And so, knowing that not only that you are a clinical director, and if you would mind, impact, let people know what that means, and also I want us to talk about just how you come about even in getting into this field, so we can also let people know just how not only that you are one who can help people, but you have a story behind that. So if you can just explain a little bit about what you do as far as profession, and then also just how you came about.
I'm a product of the '60s civil rights movement, and Vietnam War, and all that, and in that era, during the civil rights movement and the Vietnam War. Um, if anybody ever watched the Godfather movie, one of the problems in the Godfather, one of the Kingsmen wanted to sell drugs, and the Godfather didn't want to do it, and he said, "We just sell it in the blackies." You know what I mean? In the ghettos, the black neighborhoods, and somehow in the '60s, out of nowhere, a lot of heroin just seemed to appear in everybody's black community during the civil rights movement. And of course, I became a victim of shooting heroin or using heroin at the time. And for a lot of years, I got caught up in the game. And in that time, I got married, and of course, in addiction, it's impossible to be uh, a parent of anything. It's extremely hard to get any kind of financial gain, or and it just destroys the community, and it's still doing that. Back then there weren't a lot of programs in the community, but I was fortunate enough to get clean in 1980, and I've been clean, and during that time, I got a chance to come into the field of as an addiction specialist, or as a substance abuse counselor, and I had an opportunity to grow and learn in being a counselor, and God has blessed me through those years of from certification to getting my undergrad and my master's and my doctoral in the field of clinical counseling. And I've worked in every capacity of that. The problem is mental health has become a major issue in our community too, you know, because of the sign of the times, and it's sad because especially as African Americans, several things we don't focus on. One is our health. We just we eat poorly, we don't diet, we don't go get our medical exams, and in this fast-paced time with all the stress on every level, some of us suffer from depression. Some of us suffer from stress, anxiety. There are a lot of mental illnesses that people are suffering for, but because of the stigmas, the stereotypes, child, all you need to do is pray, and all you just need to stop using drugs, and it's never that easy. It's not that easy. And so um, providing services in our community is something that needs to be done and breaking through those stigmas. And as a minister of the gospel, too often people just say pray about it, and it's not that easy. Jesus is not coming back to make any more sandwiches. There's certain things that we're going to have to do and be responsible for our brothers and sisters in the community. Right now I have several persons who have some real severe mental illnesses and drinking alcohol and using drugs, and people in the community say, child, you don't need that medication. All you got to do is use willpower. And some of our young children, and I work with the criminal background of folks who are criminally and have some criminal issues. I work with people who have done 20 and 30 years in federal penitentiary and come out, and you after being 20 years in the prison system, and you come back out in this changed world, it has to produce some stress, some anxiety, some depression. And people come out, and because they can't handle the stress and the newness and the change of society, um, they go right back to the old behavior and end up right back in the same penal system. And the problem is, they're not recommended to, or the family or the community doesn't suggest that they, or even the church don't say, you know, let's get you a mental health examination or evaluation. Let's get you some help learning how to deal with, life without having to use any form of substance, sex, gambling, which is another major problem today in our community. We're riddled with problems. Um, and the core of it is as African American and in our culture, there's a lot of suffering going on. But the good news, there's a lot of help too. As myself, I went, I hit rock bottom, but God has blessed me. I was able to go get the help that I need. I was supported by others to go back and get an education. I was supported by others and taught by others and shown by others how to become, from an employee to employer. You know, Somebody had to help me and teach me how to become, from an apartment to a homeowner. Yeah. So these are things that I'm dedicated to, and I tell people, especially anybody over 25, you don't need a job. A job will never get you where you need to be. You need a skill and or a trade. If you look in biblical times, everybody had a skill and a trade, and one more important thing that anytime is important in the history of mankind, man always need to own some form of land, own something, you know. And these are things, man, that um, I've had to relearn and learn. I saw my father do it, my grandfather do it, but because of addiction, I just kind of lost my way. And losing your way is not the problem, because we've all lost our way on a highway. We've all gotten lost going through a city. But with direction and help, we were able to find our way back to our destination. And so that's what this is about. You know, right now is promoting proper health, direction, and be able to let folks. You can't do this thing by yourself. I'm 73 years old and I'm still learning. that without the support of the community, family, and friendships and those kind of things, I can't do it alone. And as
Exactly.
an agency and as a minister and as a person, that's what we're here about.
Awesome, awesome. Definitely gave me a lot of information that I want to kind of unpack a little bit because I want people to see this because you have a struggle uphill doesn't mean that you just give up or just think it's so overwhelming to accomplish. So I kind of want to use our story a little bit just to kind of give hope and share with others. Just if you stay along the process, just commit to getting the right help, you can actually overcome whatever it is you're struggling. So knowing that you didn't happen overnight for you. What's some of the early steps that we actually took place? And I know I have a speech that I use that I kind of use your story a little bit because, like you said, you have several different things that help you along your journey. One was to getting a mentor, getting the right help, getting the right people in your corner. And I kind of want to just kind of start with that. If someone would say, "Man, I got this struggle right now. I got an addiction, or I got some type of habit that I want to overcome," what would be the first steps that you would say they need to do to get the right help in this situation in order to move forward? What would you say that would be?
Um, you know, it's the same process to success. You
Mhm.
know, first I got to find a fellowship. You know, I have to find uh, another group of people, an organization, or some body of people who have overcome or can help me overcome those challenges. You know, if your spirit is lost and you're trying to develop a stronger spirit, you want to find a faith-based community. If you're wanting to increase your education, your academia, your all that, you find a good educational institution. You know, if you need good health, you know what I mean, and you want to improve your health, you find good healthcare providers. You know, when I was overcoming or trying to overcome my addiction, I found, I became a part of Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, and then I became a part of some other groups of folks who were the main goal was staying clean and sober. And once I became a part of a particular fellowship. In other words, if you want to make money, you need to find folks who are making money and try to become a part of that fellowship. Because in any body that you become a part of and connected to that is taking you where they're at, and you can jump aboard because there's nothing new. Whatever your challenge is, somebody's already doing it. Somebody's already overcome it. So it's no recreating nothing. It's going to go be a part of that body and join it and saying, hey, I need some help, direction. That's the first thing. You got to surrender, man. You got to stop being, you're not alone. You have to join other. And then the next thing, in any of those, if you go to school, there's a teacher. You go to church, there's a pastor. You go to other organizations, there's a president. There's always somebody there in leadership, and their goal is to teach me what I don't know. What I know only got me here. As far as what I know only got me here, and I know there's a lot more further to go. And there's some people out there, man, got it going on, man, because they took time out to be taught, and now they turn out to be teachers and teach one. You know what I mean? Educate one. That's what this is about. So I found some people, man, who are willing to teach me how to stay drug free. You know, I joined the field of being a professional, therapist. And so I found some folks, man, who would teach me what certifications I needed, what educational background that I needed, what, kind of treatment modalities that I needed, what college education. And, so I needed to know those things. If you're struggling with drugs and alcohol, man, there's certain things you got to learn. It's relearning just about everything. But you gotta, and not only that, you gotta go learn, find a teacher, a mentor, somebody to direct me until I'm able to get it by myself. There has to be some form of doctrine. You know what I mean? Everything that's done successfully is written down. There's no hocus pocus. There's no stand around and all of a sudden stuff. Everything you need in each one of those fellowships has doctrine. You know, in the religious circles, it's called the Bible, the Torah. You know what I mean? Each one has this doctrine, and it's written down. There was a little cat on TV years ago, man, and he used to have a commercial, and he'd be a little goofy kind of guy. And he used to have these dollar signs on his jacket. You know what I mean? He'd say, "If you read my book, you become a millionaire." If you read the book, he had it written down, and what he had down would make a person a millionaire. The problem is people didn't want to do it. See, so people want to become spiritually fit, but it's written down. People don't want to do it. People know they need training and skills, but they don't want to go to school. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about those folks, man, who want to do it, man.
Yeah, you
You got
said
to
some
read the
things. Yeah,
doctrine. You got to
you,
read the doctrine. And then once you read the doctrine and you listen to the teaching and you stay connected to the fellowship, you get a chance to live it.
yes.
You get a chance to live it. And I'm living it.
Mm. Yeah, you said some good stuff right there. So the first thing, of course, is you want to connect yourself with the answer. Then you have to apply yourself to the information that you've been given in order for it to actually take root over time to produce the right fruit that you want to have in your life. And so that's really good that you definitely have to commit to a process of the right doctrine.
And one more thing, when the student is ready,
Hmm.
the teacher shall appear. When
Yes.
you're ready to be taught as a student, teacher gonna show up.
Oh yeah, exactly. And what I wanted to share also was the importance of relationships. Like I say, I want to kind of dig back on even putting us in that place of our relationship is solid now, but it wasn't always just solid because we had to build over time what we have now. But I want you to kind of touch on that, just how, in wherever someone's journey, no matter how muddy that water may have gotten, how to rebuild and establish healthy relationships.
The 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 the, the, the design I just talked about um, is one that can be used in for any purpose. You know, because of addiction. It was hard being a father. You know what I mean? It was hard. You know, and I wasn't able to be to be who I wanted to be when my children were children and in their teens. You know, because I wasn't connected to a fellowship. I wasn't teachable. Okay, I wasn't following no doctrine. Only doctrine I was following was while I was rose and give me a joint and an occasional one-on-one. There wasn't nothing spiritual or divine about that journey. And of course, I fell into what they call the abyss. But what happened was, over the years, as I became a part of, my children became a part of a fellowship. And because there's something about the ingredients for success, it just doesn't apply to money. You know, if you want to be in a relationship with somebody and that relationship is supposed to grow, how do you get married to somebody? You a gymnastic and they a eater. Yeah, that don't work. I mean, y'all have to have some kind of, you know, you know. We became a part of the same sort of fellowship, and the magic and the gel of the spirituality began to work because between my son and me in those years that things weren't so good, but when I got back on the path, we began to being taught spiritual principles, and being taught those spiritual principles, learning how to forgive and learning how to let go and learning how that we need to learn how to, that pray for each other, those things begin to materialize. And as we became, so not only that, as we began to read the doctrines and understand, our strengths and weaknesses, and that we're not junk, that God made us and strengthened us, and we can begin to look at both of us came, my children's mother and my parents, both our parents came from strong black families. And those things were always there. But as we grew older and we began to connect on the same path, heading on the same journey to be successful, to be the men and women that we're known to be. And now we're back on a fellowshipping that kind of on a highway of life came together. And on the highway of life, when we began to be taught by some of the same ideologies and methodologies. And on that path, we began to read the same books and have the same understanding. And here we are right now, man, serving the same meal. You know, so over a period of time, man, what I mean, it's not important what church he goes to, what school he went. All we know is we belong to the same thing, man. You know, the fellowship of being the best you can be. Like my son always say, be great. See, I belong to a part of the fellowship that says be great. Be the best you can be. There's no name to that, but that's a fellowship of people. There are winners and losers out here. You can be a part of the fellowship of losers. That's yours. I mean, okay. Y'all ain't being taught nothing. Okay. And you're probably not, but the fellowship of winners are always looking for leaders to teach. And fellowship of winners are always willing to teach somebody else where the loose stones are on the path of life. And we can always show somebody where we got the information from. Because it's not about me. It's written in the book. The only thing I said, man, I had to learn how to become disciplined, put some order in my life. Some of the salt and pepper, the ingredients is of how to become great. And then I get a chance to exercise it. And over those years, man, I'm sitting here with my son, man. I don't know what happened, but I know grace kicked in. I know being on this path, not only in our lives, it's the same thing in everybody else's life that's in that fellowship of be great.
Awesome, awesome. Definitely good stuff right there. Because, like I said, if you just commit to doing a thing long enough, and not only just doing it for yourself, but doing it knowing that you're making an impact for others. That's what's the great thing about leadership, and this what we are speaking on. What does be great really mean? It's meaning that you're not just thinking about yourself only. Yes, you're trying to become the best version of yourself, but overall is to better the lives of everyone else who you have the opportunity to touch. And so, like I've seen in your life, you've actually went from one place where you say it was all about yourself. It was about how can I get my next whatever, but now how can I give that what I have been given to make life better for others. And so that's what we strive on. That's I appreciate you being an example. We could have talked about so many other lanes, but we want to end on this because you have certain things that you had to overcome that others did not. And I talk about the thing about you had certain things happen to you, but same such as your sight. But you didn't allow that to take you out of the game, but you allow that to be your reason why you got to keep pressing. So it nice in me that no matter the challenges that I had to face, I still have opportunity to win if I don't give up. So if you can, I want you to close out by just sharing a little about that side, but just to encourage others. Don't allow the storm to take you out the game, but allow that to be the reason why you got to win the game.
I was born with
I
a
think you muted
visual
right there.
visual impairment, huh?
For some reason you muted that.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Can't hear you.
Wow. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and close this out on this. For some reason your phone, your line is muted. But I
I can hear
want
you
to
guys.
just share with others that the whole thing was my dad had to overcome the situation that he lost his sight at a certain point in time. But even during that time, it did not stop him from pursuing forth. He actually lost that own pursuit to get his master's, and he completed his master's, got his doctorate. But then he decided to even go as far as to open up his own agencies to help others who struggle with the same things that he struggled with, was substance abuse and mental health. And now he's able to help individuals in so many different lanes because he did not quit. And I encourage you, no matter how life gets so hard on you, but if you still have the desire in your heart, you know that you've been called for greatness, just keep pressing forward. You may not know the next step because I'm pretty sure he did not know the steps because things happened that wasn't wrote down. What to do once you lost certain things that you most people have, you have to keep on doing the things that you know you can do and keep on trust and believe that you can partner with the right people in the right time if you do your part. So I encourage you, know that you have greatness within you, and if you commit to doing your best, the rest will come your way. And I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope something that was said will encourage you to be great. Thank you for allowing us to share. Have a great day.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?